whether the appointments were done, the illegal ones. It is whether they were meant to occur, whether appointment letters were actually ensued after those declarations and whatnot. It is not in contest, Chair, whether the allegations against other elected leaders were made. It is not in contest whether the utterances against the Catholic Church were made. What is in contest between the parties is not whether any of the things we have alleged, any of the things in our videos took place, but the meaning to be attributed to them or the context in which they were uttered or done. We take comfort, Chair, in your assurance that this being an inquisitorial committee, the Senate as its own independent translators from Kimeru to English and vice versa from Kimeru to Kiswahili or wherever. And we'll urge you to ask those translators to tell you from the videos whose accuracy is not in contest between the parties, there was vilification of other leaders, whether there were illegal appointments. Chair, we'll urge you to note, because it's easy to be lost in the legalese. I'm a lawyer and I'm often guilty of this. That for virtually every official institution set up by national and county laws, from the evidence before you, the governor has a parallel structure, parallel appointments that supplant the one known to the law. Can MCAs be faulted, whether it is the municipal board, whether it is the hospital, whether, whatever it is, you'll find there is a law. The law has established the official organ to deal with a need of the people or a problem of the people. The picture that has emerged is that for every one of them mentioned in the impeachment motion, the governor came and set up an official parallel system and chose not to work with the one set up in the law, and also chose not to work with the people officially holding the office responsible for that function. And the question, Chair, how long can we, in fairness, expect any county to be run like that? Lastly, because my colleague will address you on the evidence, the county assembly gave the governor notice, 7 good days. She tells you, and it's up to you to give it whatever weight you want, that she was advised. She didn't have to appear before the county assembly, and specifically that if she appeared, she would have been in breach of a court order. She has not shown you the court order that forbade her from appearing before the assembly. But that's not the reason I am raising this issue, Chair. The reason I'm raising it is because there is a fundamental question of principle. The governor has an opportunity to place her defense. Never mind, she says the assembly is already prejudiced. is, can we in good faith fault the assembly for making the decision it made when the opportunity to place all this material, can the assembly be faulted for not considering the matters you're now being asked to consider in favor of the governor when the widow to avail that material was there? Lastly, Chair, I am not actually worried as a lawyer whether your decision will be legally correct or incorrect. And the reason I'm not worried, all of us, including me, Chair, every day make legal arguments and decisions that are shown to have been incorrect once in a while. At the University of Nairobi, there is a course they teach called Law and Economics. And in that subject, Chair, which I actually teach, we are told the value of a decision, whether by a judge, whether by a tribunal like this one, we are told, secondly, the value of a law, whether it's the Constitution, whatever law, Chair, is not what it says or doesn't say. So the value of your decision is not what you will say or you won't say. Scholars of law and economics tell us the true value of your decision is the scheme of incentives for either good behavior or bad behavior that your decision will establish. I very humbly tell you, Chair, that if you let this governor off the hook, the scheme of incentives you'll be sending to other governors, both now and in the future, is that you can engage in whatever number of violations of the law, whatever the nature of those violations, whatever the potential consequences of those violations, but the Senate of the Republic of Kenya, for one reason or another, can let you get away with it. That is what the priest meant by the difference between justice and forgiveness. He was actually addressing on moral and legal philosophy, and I'm not sure he was understood. The matter before you is about justice. It's about what legal consequences should ensue for certain acts and omissions. Chair, allow Mr. Ngwele, because I note we have only 30 minutes, to address you on why we believe we have substantiated or proved, or whatever the word we want to use, not just one, because we only need one, but actually several allegations. Thank you very much, Chair.
Chair, for the record, my name is Jacob Ngwele, and I'll be submitting on the reminder of our submissions. Before I embark on evaluation of the evidence which you have submitted, Chair, it's our humble and most respectful submission that the Assembly side has substantiated all the 62 grounds of violation which the Assembly passed in its impeachment motion against the governor, as were read in the charge sheet, which was read before the governor here. I will proceed and explain how we have substantiated those charges. One of the grounds was the issue of illegal appointments, nepotism, and illegal usurpation of public offices. Of course, the first issue was the appointment of the governor's husband as in county offices. Chair, from the outset, this issue has been trivialized. It has been generalized, it has been demeaned, but it is a very serious issue. What the governor and the chief of staff did not mention when they were being cross-examined, they only went to the appointment of Hustler's ambassador, but they never mentioned that, or they never came out clearly that the issue was about, the critical issue was about the governor in a public setting, which was draped with flags, a forum which was meant to launch a person in a public office, did appoint the husband as a patron of a public institution, an institution which has been created by a statute. It is a submission that it is not just a matter of a spouse. It is about a spouse who has been given an illegal appointment and who is exercising illegal powers. You are not appointed a patron of a public institution to be an ambassador of it. You are appointed a patron to exert influence, to exert policy directions on that particular institution. And for that reason, we submit that this issue has been proved, and the issue about the role of the spouses, we need to debunk that particular issue and argue that, as it was raised here, spouses are not appointed in critical public positions. You cannot see a spouse appointed as a patron of Kenya Forest Service, as a patron of Mama Lucy Hospital. These are not the reserve for for spouses to be appointed. The other issue quickly was the issue of reappointment of Mr. Rufus Miriti as a county secretary. This issue is uncontested. It is uncontested both in the affidavit which is submitted in this house. It is uncontested both in the oral evidence and also the oral evidence of both Mr. Harrison and the governor herself. It is not contested. It is not in dispute or doubtful that Mr. Miriti has been reappointed as a county secretary. It is not in dispute that Mr. Miriti was the county secretary of the previous regime. It is not contested that Mr. Miriti's term came to an end with the tenure of the previous government. But what Mr. Harrison told the court, the Senate, was that the term was extended, the extension was allowed by the TA, then the term is still ongoing. He still has a contract which expires on 23rd of January next year. We do submit that this is one of a very critical illustration whereby the governor has disregarded the express provisions of the law. And the law is that an appointment, including reappointment, must be submitted to the county assembly for fresh vetting. We did submit in our documents 2 decisions of the High Court. One is the one for the High Court of Machakos, and the other one by Justice Murima. In the Machakos judgment, the court said that in case of the term of the CCs whose the tenure of the governor has come to an end, they must be subjected to a reappointment. Similarly, Justice Murima said that if the term of the CS comes to an end with the end of the tenure of the president, they meted. That particular gentleman is still up to date, exercising illegal powers, and that is one of the grounds we have submitted. The other issue, which I'll go quickly, is the issue of the roadside appointments. It is not in dispute, both from the governor's evidence and from Mr. Harrison's evidence, that these appointments were made, both in Timau, Nikubu, and Kianjai. What has happened is that the evidence has shifted. Initially, it was that no pronouncements were made. Then, no letters were given. Now, it has become the appointments were actually made for an organization called Okolea. In the governor's evidence, in our governor's affidavit, that is not mentioned. We do submit that this is a creation. It's what in law we call an afterthought, a smoke screen, whereby you want to shift the evidence from this direction. We are saying, I was not stealing, actually I was speaking. That is what they are trying to submit. We do submit that the evidence we have given in our annexures, all the annexures that we ask, as my colleague has requested the Senate, let the committee review the transcripts for all those 3 instances, and you will see the governor directing the ward administrators to appoint those people. How do you direct public officers to appoint people to private organization? we do submit that this allegation has been proved and is tantamount to illegal usurpation of functions given to a public institution. The only person who can create public offices, the only person who can hire is the County Public Service Board. Honorable Senators, the other issue, of course, similar to that one, was the issue of illegal committees which were created for municipalities. It is not in dispute that in Meru, they have municipal boards. It's not in dispute that one of the functions of the county government is management of parking and taxes. So the governor cannot go ahead and create parallel structures to manage these functions which are provided for in the 4th schedule of the Constitution. This was a committee with a treasurer, with an organizing secretary, with a chairman, with a secretary. What were they created to do? We do submit that this allegation has been proved, and we invite the committee to review the evidence. The other issue was the issue of incitement and bullying. Incitement and bullying. We do submit that all the instances, the four instances, I'll go first of all, incitement, bullying, vilification of leaders. One was about Honorable Mwenda. That one, the member himself gave evidence here. The video which was produced here showed how the governor humiliated him in public. The governor was there parading him, asking him to apologize, telling him, I'm going to offer you protection. But now the narrative has changed, that it was the members of the public who were asking the member to apologize. Yet the governor herself has admitted she's the one who introduced that subject to the gathering. The other issue about vilification of the senator and the CS and the MP for Tigania, that is very clear in the transcripts. If you read those transcripts, it is on a meeting where the governor was present. And the issues was about this, allegedly, that these leaders were putting pressure on the governor to share power. But what does the governor say? She changes the narrative and argues that the half a bread, half a loaf she meant was that sharing half a loaf with MCAs. Yet the context was that these members want half a loaf of my government. We invite the committee to review that particular evidence. Chairman, I'll ask that, because I'm going through a lot of grounds which you covered, that you add me 5 more minutes in my time so that I can wind up. The other issue, you can see I'm rushing and I'm doing the work some justice.
Order.
The other issue.
Order. Everything that you are speaking to has already been articulated. It is up to you to ensure that you squeeze it into the limited time.
Yes, Chairman. The other issue was about vilification of our Catholic Church. When this matter began, the evidence was not clear. But from the evidence adduced by the governor and also the priest, the matter has been shed clear that there is a dispute between the Catholic Church and the county government of Meru, and a dispute which has now arisen after the governor came into place, where she's challenging the lease which the church is holding. And the governor is saying she's being put pressure to pay the money. What does she do? In a majestic style, whenever you confront the governor, she calls for baraza to fight you, what we call bully pulpit. She calls the meeting, takes down the church so that the church can relinquish their leasehold, which is still valid. We do submit that this evidence has again been submitted. Another issue which is close to my heart, because that is something which is very close also to this committee, about the inviolability of the precincts of the assembly. This Senate has enacted the County Assembly Powers and Privileges Act. That act makes it very clear that you cannot force yourself into the county assembly. It provides offenses which you commit when you force yourself into the county assembly. The governor herself, in Annexure 16, the last clip which was played here, she has said that she was barred from entering the assembly, but she forced herself into the county assembly. The evidence also produced shows that the governor was accompanied by goons and militia. What was played by their side was different from what we played. You will see when she was coming, other than the clip which showed her entering the assembly, there was another clip outside there where she had a group of people. And the posture the governor had taken, the demeanor, the temper she had, meant that the governor was coming for combat in the assembly. And the honorable senators, we do request this Senate I want to direct the Senate to the County Assembly Powers and Privileges Act, more so Section 3, which protects the precincts of the assembly. Not even the agents of the national government, not even the police, not even the NSIS can enter without the invitation of the speaker. But the governor went there by force. Honorable senators, I wish to remind you that of the issue of the January 6th, 2021 in America, whereby the then president of America incited a group, a group of gathering of people. They went ahead and invaded the hallowed precincts of the U.S. Capitol. They took over, they commandeered the Senate, they commandeered the House of Representatives, and what has happened? The January 6th committee has found that the president needs to be prosecuted by the Department of Justice. Had the president been in the office today, he would have been impeached. It is impeachable. It is an offense under the laws of this country for you to hold gathering outside the gates of the assembly. The law protects even the gates of the assembly. The law provides even the gates of this Senate. You cannot come and hold a baraza outside the gates of this Senate. You will be violating the laws of the land. My last two issues is the issue about the violation of the Public Finance Management Act. We do submit that this allegation has been proved. The governor has not contested that she made those utterances. What she has done, she has shifted the narrative. She has shifted the story that she was being requested. Yet when you review the evidence, you will see that in that particular meeting, the governor made 4 remarks. One, she said she wants to establish wellness center. The other one, she wants the CCs and chief officers who are going to be recruited to be doctors. Those are policy pronouncements she was making. Thirdly, she went ahead and gave waivers. Waivers under the provisions of the Public Finance Management Act is a preserve of the CC finance. The governor cannot give waivers. Meru has a legislation. Meru has a legislation called Meru County Tax Waivers Administration Act, which is very clear that it is only the CC finance who can provide waivers. The other issue the governor did with that particular issue was directing the hospital to spend money at source. Chairman, I really want to correct the impression which has been created that the Meru Teaching Referral Hospital Act provides for the use of money at source. I'll recommend the committee to read section 14(4) of the same act. It talks about that the funds under the section shall be managed in accordance with the PFM Act. That act recognizes that you have to refer back to the PFM Act. And the PFM Act provides elaborate mechanisms whereby you can use money from source. We do submit that this allegation has been proved. The last of allegation was offenses, misconduct relating to the CCs. What the governor did was, as the assembly, in exercise of its constitutional mandate, rejected 7 nominees. Nothing wrong with that. Within the confines, within the powers of the county assembly, to refuse, to reject nominees. But what does the law provide? The county assembly, the Public Appointments County Assembly Approval Act, section 10 provides that once the assembly rejects the name, the governor is supposed to resubmit. The governor shall resubmit
against
fresh names.
Because
the
we
act
do
uses
find
the word shall, which means if
the
we
notice of
reject
impeachment
6,
to be
you don't go
exactly
back
that.
and abandon the
Shock
6
and
and you
awe.
work with the 3.
In that we
No,
have-
Chair, you
you
can't use the
resubmit
word against me. There is no case by me
resubmit
before the Senate.
the 7
The case
who have been
belongs to the
rejected.
county
What the
assembly.
governor did was, she went
I
in the
stand
guise
by
of
this.
reorganization,
Precisely.
collapsed
Shock
the
and
departments
AW.
and appointed 3 CC to be in charge
Those
of
were
6.
words used by Dr. Muthomi to describe
Our submission is
that
that
petition.
section
I'm only
46 of the
using
County
same
Government
words,
Act
borrowing from my good friend, Dr. Muthomi. The reason why I'm saying that this matter is shock and awe is because a very negative and scary picture has been painted against the governor. We all sat here when the governor was being described as the modern day Hitler. And we would have expected that the evidence to be placed before this committee would have confirmed that same picture. Honorable members, you will confirm indeed that there was no evidence to that effect. So that left me wondering, why is the governor on trial? Is it because of our emotions? Is it because of our passion? Is it because of our temperament? Is it because of our mistakes? Is it because of our firmness? Is it because of our leadership style? Honorable members, none of this is a ground to impeach a governor. The governor might be emotional, might be passionate, might have a style of leadership that is not understood by many. But even then, and I'm not trying to justify that, is that the ground that was envisaged under Article 181 and Article 33 of the Constitution? Do we have any other ways of dealing with such a situation rather than impeaching a governor? And that's why, in our opening remarks, we were quick to state that we should differentiate between a political weapon and an oversight tool. The MCAs have oversight tools to check the governor, to check the executive, to bring it back on track when they stray. The MCAs have not come before you with clean hands. There is one maxim of equity that says, he who comes to equity must come with clean hands. Honorable members, when you sat here, can we agree that the MCAs are not at fault? Are they blameless? Have they come before this committee with clean hands? Have they themselves fueled the disagreement in Meru? Do they have their own share of blame to what is happening in Meru? Have they been seen fixing the governor, disrespecting her, putting her in a very awkward situation? Can we then allow these same MCAs to benefit from their own misconduct and have an entire election overturned over incidences where they have been party to? A case in point I will draw the attention of the committee to is when the MCAs intentionally block the governor from accessing the chamber in a day when they have themselves gazetted and invited the governor. The governor is ushered in by the speaker. The speaker allows the MCAs to conduct themselves in an unparliamentary manner. The speaker is not seen in any way trying to control the house. Then they come before the Senate and they want you to find that it was the governor who forcefully entered that county assembly. It would be unfair for us to sit here and assume that the county assembly of Meru comes before you with clean hands. Let's talk about impartiality, honorable members of this committee. Article 50 and 49 of our Constitution is supreme in as far as the right to fair hearing is concerned. The County Assembly of Meru, once it was seized of this motion, was supposed to be a quasi-judicial body that is supposed to uphold impartiality, that is supposed to uphold the right to fair hearing. Can we say really the conduct of that county assembly was conduct enough to suggest that they were in any way impartial? If, for example, today, honorable members, you went to court, and the first thing the judge does is dance how they are going to slaughter you, do you expect any fair hearing before that committee? We watched the MCAs donned in red very early in the morning before they even had the move of the motion. They sang inside the county assembly, chest stamping how they are going to teach the governor a lesson. Can we say that is an impartial committee, that the governor ought to have appeared before and expect justice and expect fairness? I beg to differ. So this confirms indeed that the County Assembly of Meru and the MCAs had a predetermined outcome of this motion, and they did not bother to even interrogate the issues before them. So what then is the threshold that ought to be upheld or met by any person seeking to impeach the governor. Because impeaching a governor is the last resort. Once the governor before you today is impeached, honorable members, it is not just about her removal from office. Going by the recent Supreme Court decision in the Mike Sonko case, the governor cannot even be in charge of any category committee because she will have been condemned forever. She lacks leadership skills. Are we telling this governor here today that based on the evidence brought before this committee, that this governor, forever and ever, at her age, and with only 2 months of being in office, that she has done so serious mistakes that she can never ever run for any leadership position? Because once you condemn her and uphold the impeachment, it will be the end of this governor to ever present herself for any of public office in this country. So the framers of the Constitution put a threshold under Article 181, and they used very strong and specific adjectives: gross violations, gross misconduct. So it is not just any violation that qualifies for impeachment, it must be gross. It is not any misconduct that can justify an impeachment, it must be gross. So the question that the committee ought to ask itself when you retire to prepare your report is that, has there been any gross misconduct, any gross violation? Gross is the highest standard of misconduct or violation. It must be very clear. You cannot be looking for this kind of misconduct. It must be very glaring and very conspicuous. I want to submit that there has been no demonstration of gross violation, gross misconduct. So even if the committee was to be tempted to find that there is misconduct or violation, does that become gross? Does the evidence before this committee support the grossness of that misconduct or violation? In criminal liability, lawyers speak about 2 ingredients that confirm criminal liability. One is what is called mens rea. Mens rea is a state of mind that the person accused of criminal liability must have the state of mind, must have intended to commit a particular crime. But then, criminal liability alone is not proved by a state of mind. The person who conceives the commission of a crime must go ahead and commit the crime. That is what is called actus reus. So those two combined then form an offense. So with only the state of mind, without the action itself, you cannot be held criminally liable. Most of the accusations against the governor are in respect of utterances that have not even been actioned. So even if the committee was to find that the governor has, or rather is guilty of these utterances, were any of those utterances ever actioned to justify criminal liability? I have not seen any action that has been taken by the governor that can justify that liability. Honorable members, if there were any appointments to any office, there would be an instrument of appointment. If there was any misappropriation of funds, there would be evidence of money lost. If there was any intention to benefit the first gentleman, there would be evidence to that effect. Can we then find the governor guilty because of mens rea minus actus reus? The intention without the action. There is no action to accompany that intention, if indeed there was any intention in the first place. The Court of Appeal in the Martin Nyaga Wambora case, which was, I believe, the ever first impeachment motion to go through all the stages, the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal had an opportunity to interrogate.
Counsel, you have 10 minutes.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. So the question that the Court of Appeal sought to give guidance on is what amounts to gross violation as envisaged under Article 181. And they said that the allegations must be serious, substantial, and weighty, so that not any allegation would qualify under Article 181. There must be a nexus between what the governor is alleged to have done and a particular violation of the Constitution or any written law. So then you would expect that of any of the 62 allegations, the County Assembly would pin and compare this action is in violation of this particular law. Have we seen that? We have not seen that. For example, you have been told that the governor has appointed the first gentleman to a public office. One, we must see the public office to which this first gentleman has been appointed to. That would be a violation. So we have not seen that nexus. Honorable members, because of time, allow me look at the issue of public participation. And this is an issue that I really want the committee and beseech you to really spend time on, scrutinizing all the memoranda that have been presented before you. If you carefully go through all those memoranda, you will inevitably find that they were done by one person or a group of persons, so that to the extent that you have similar spelling mistake and typographical errors in almost all those memoranda. If then there is that attempt, you can see the desperation to justify that the people of Meru really wanted the governor to be out of office. Burden of proof. It was incumbent upon the County Assembly of Meru to prove their case, to support gross misconduct, to support gross violation. It was not upon the governor to prove our innocence. And that's why your own rules provide for a situation even where the governor is given a right not even to appear before the committee. You would not then just pass a resolution to uphold without interrogating whether the County Assembly has met or discharged the burden of proof. So it is not enough for the County Assembly to accuse the governor of not having tendered evidence to prove our innocence. It works the other way around. It is for them to prove our guilt, because the governor is presumed innocent until proven guilt. I want to yield to my learned friend to address you on one or two issues before sitting down. But then before I do that, you have heard the governor herself plead with this committee that she has tried to make amends, that she had tried to reach out to other leaders, that maybe it was an issue of misunderstanding between her and the other leaders, that the issue at hand is ward fund. And the MCAs came here and denied that fact. But the evidence we brought confirmed that indeed that is the genesis of this problem. She promises that once there is a legal mechanism of dealing with that issue, then there will be no problem. Honorable members, I beseech you to give the people of Meru a chance to experience their choice. If then there is a mistake done, we should be able to judge her with concrete evidence, not based on emotions and utterances. Thank you very much, Honorable Chair and members.
Thank you. Councillor, you have 6 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman, Honorable Chairman. This committee is an investigative committee, and it has a responsibility and guidelines on how to achieve that responsibility. I will not refer this committee to the law. It is sufficiently informed with good experts in the law, but this is a motion under Article 181 and Section 133. This committee is supposed to determine whether the motion before the County Assembly has been substantiated, meaning the allegations availed at the County Assembly and debated, were they supported by cogent and probative evidence so as to be seen to have been proved beyond reasonable doubt? Those charges must meet a certain threshold, which Mr. Mutuma has alluded to, and I refer this committee to Civil Appeal number 21 of 2014. It's a Court of Appeal decision delivered sitting in Nyeri, and I'm not going to analyze that decision for the sake of time. But, my Lord, Honorable Chairman, in that decision, the court sets the threshold for determining gross violations of the Constitution and gross misconduct. Gross violations of the Constitution, according to that decision, and it analyzes many other decisions from the Commonwealth, it must be such a gross violation of the Constitution that it makes it impossible for the other constitutional organs in the county or in the country to be unable to function because those provisions of the Constitution have been violated. Honorable Chairman, there is no evidence that there has been a violation of a constitutional provision so that the judiciary in the county of Meru is not able to function, that the governor of the county of Meru has made it impossible for the county assembly to carry out its essential functions. And I ask this committee to look at the evidence that is availed. On the matter of evidence, the book of Proverbs, chapter 18, verse 17, says that the first person to speak appears truthful until the opponent stands to cross-examine. I do not want to analyze the entire evidence, but look at the Hansard and the cross-examination. The evidence that was availed in support of the charge, even on verification, for instance, by Mr. Mweda Inviri, he said he was being asked to apologize on the things he did not know. On cross-examination, and I asked him, you are saying to the governor, some things are true, others are not true. He admitted that there were actually things that had led to the two leaders getting to that position together with the public. Honorable Committee, when the issue of the church arose and the the father came to testify, he said he's not here on matters of the church or verification of the church. He was here on his own person, and he also gave a very particular line of testimony. And he said he has lived in America for over 10 years. He has been racially abused. And he said, potentially, that's why he is a more sensitive person. Honorable Chairman, that is a very important testimony coming from a witness. And this committee should look at that evidence from that prism of this is not an unusual person or a usual citizen for purposes of testifying on the issues that were before, that is a charge before this committee. On the issue of mismanagement of finances, again, the mover of the motion admitted that the county has not lost any money and the governor has not spent any money, contrary to any provision or framework of management of finances in the county. This was an admission by the mover of the motion themselves.
Joining us in a matter of minutes, the administration of oath for the Senator-elect Bungoma County, Senator Wafula David Wakoli, will take place, and the Senator-elect was elected by the voters in Bungoma County to replace the former Senator Moses Wetangula, who was elected as the Speaker of the National Assembly. It is a tradition that when such exercise happens, then the member must take the oath of office before joining his or her colleagues in transacting the business. So this afternoon, the Senator-elect will be walked into the Senate chamber for that special occasion?
Having established that indeed we do have a quorum, Clerk, can you proceed by calling the first order, please?
Order number 1, administration of oath. Senator Wafula David Wakoli, Senator-elect, Bungoma County.
There on your screen is the Senator-elect, flanked by the Nandi County Senator.
Very well. We'll proceed to take the oath.
English. I, Wafula David Wakoli, having been elected a member of the Senate, do swear in the name of the Almighty God that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the people and the Republic of Kenya, that I will obey, respect, uphold, preserve, protect, and defend this Constitution of the Republic of Kenya, and that I will faithfully and conscientiously discharge the duties of a member of Parliament. So help me God.
Members, you may now take a seat, please. Thank you. Honorable Senators who are standing, please take your seats. Honorable Senators, I would like to acknowledge the presence in the Speaker's Gallery the following members of Parliament. County Women Representative for Bungoma County, the Honorable Catherine Wabilianga, MP. The Member of Parliament for Webuye East Constituency, the Honorable Martin Pepela Wanyoni, MP. The Member of Parliament for Kanduyi Constituency, the Honorable John Makali, MP. The Honorable Mpuri Aburi, Igembe East Constituency Member of Parliament. Igembe East. Tigania East Constituency. Honorable Senators, on behalf of the Senate and on my own behalf, I welcome the said dignitaries to the Senate and wish them well for the remainder of the visit. I thank you. Honorable members, will allow few comments in terms of congratulatory messages to the newly sworn-in Senator for Bungoma. Manzo Daniel Gitonga.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, first I want to wish members and our guests Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Season's greetings. Mr. Speaker, today is a very important occasion, and also welcome the newly sworn member. I would like to mention that the former member, who is now the Speaker of National Assembly, the Honorable Wetangula, was a very strong member of this chamber and did very well, and has been a politician of many years and of good standing, and also a very senior lawyer in the country. So I believe the new senator will be able to fit in those shoes of the Honorable Wetangula, Senator and now Speaker of the National Assembly, and that will be able to, you know, to assist us in sorting out all matters like the one pending today and represent the people of Bungoma well. I want to wish all Kenyans again Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable Chirange.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all of us, including our guests. Mr. Speaker, first and foremost, it was an honor today to escort our newly elected senator, brand new, zero mileage from Bungoma, Senator Wafula David of Ford, Kenya. Mr. Speaker, I don't know why the entrance of Senator Karen Nyamu is drawing excitement, especially from the male members. Maybe that's a story for another day. Mr. Speaker, allow me to congratulate my brother and welcome him, Senator Wafula, to the Senate. Mr. Speaker, the immediate former Senator of Bungoma and the current National Assembly Speaker was a dedicated member of this House. He used to sit just behind my brother, Senator Wambua. He was the senior most in this House, Mr. Speaker, but he ensured he attended all the committees as a member religiously, contributed, of course, with colorful English whenever he appeared before any motion or debate or any comment on the House, Mr. Speaker. So I want to welcome my brother, Mr. Speaker, and I'm happy that the great people of Bungoma have always and ensured that Kenya Kwanza family is growing by leaps and bounds. We are happy. I know the minority side had a appetite that this addition would have been on their side, but unfortunately, these young gentlemen were able to flow seasoned politicians, including the former Bumula Member of Parliament and also the chair of, I don't know the name of that party, I think it's a village party, Wafula Munyinyi, somebody like that. And we thank that the Kenyans are now realizing the importance, Mr. Speaker, of youth in leadership. So I want to thank all the senators, Mr. Speaker, and believe that they can be able to be welcome, Mr. Speaker, to this House, the assistance of all of us, Mr. Speaker, so that we can move ahead. Finally, Mr. Speaker, I want to ask my brother, the new senator, that I hope you will learn very fast. The people of Bungoma have high hopes on you. We will support you where we can, both as the minority and majority side, Mr. Speaker, to ensure any agenda and the interest of the great people of Bungoma, Mr. Speaker, is given priority in the Senate, Mr. Speaker. So we want to wish you all the best, Mr. Speaker, and I know, Mr. Speaker, your secretariat and your office have always been of great help to all of us as members. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, we are also looking forward with your able secretariat led by our good clerk, Nyekenya, to ensure the new member, Mr. Speaker, is given necessary support and capacity. Mr. Speaker, and I can notice that there are some of the members who are elected in August. Even as you take Senator Wafula for orientation, there are quite a number of members that need still to go for orientation, Mr. Speaker. So don't let him go alone. Include a number of them. I'll give you in camera their names so that they can be effective and efficient in terms of their discharge, Mr. Speaker. With all those many remarks, congratulations, Happy New Year, and Merry Christmas. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable Senator Mazayo.
Asante Bwana Spika. Bwana Spika, kitu cha kwanza nataka kutoa kongole kwa ndugu yetu David Wakoli Wafula kwa kuwa na ushindi wa hali ya juu kuingia kama anayewakilisha kaunti ya Bungoma kama senator. Bwana Spika, tuliona kile kindumbwendumbwe kilikuwa huko, na pia mimi nataka ni waunge mkono, walipata ushindi na ni jambo zuri ambalo wamekuwa wamemleta hapa, na kwamba yeye anaweza kuitengeneza ile, kuifanya ile kazi ya useneta. Bwana Spika, tukielewa kwamba aliyekuwa seneta wa Bungoma hivi sasa ndio spika wa bunge la kitaifa. Bwana Spika, Seneta Wetangula alikuwa kiongozi walio wachache na alijithibitisha kama mwakilishi wa Bungoma vilivyo, na vile vile alikuwa kama taa katika hii Senate. Kwa hiyo Bwana Spika, ni jambo zuri kwa sababu David amekuja sasa na tuna hakika anaingia katika viatu ambavyo ni vikubwa. Watu wa Bungoma watategemea kwamba atafanya kazi kama alivyofanya Moses Wetangula. Kwa hiyo ni jambo la furaha kwamba ameingia katika viatu hivyo na tunamtakia kila laheri. Cha muhimu ya yeye kuelewa ndugu yetu David ni kwamba katika bunge la Senate tunajaribu tunavyoweza kuona kwamba mijadala yetu tunayoifanya hailemei pande ile wala pande ile. Tunaweza kuifanya mijadala inakuwa ya kitaifa, ya kwamba lote tunalofanya hapa linasaidia serikali zetu za mashinani. Ndio cha muhimu. Kwa hiyo mimi nataka tu kutoa kama usia kwake ya kwamba akiwa hapa awe mkakamavu kama atakavyoona wenzake, na hata ikiwa kama vile alivyosema ndugu yangu mdogo Cherargea kwamba akienda kwa induction ni sawasawa, pia wengine ambao wanajisikia wanataka kwenda kwa induction waende naye, watafundishana wakiwa huko, na baadaye hatimaye wakirudi watakuwa mabingwa ndani ya hii Senate yetu. Kwa hiyo mimi namtakia kila laheri ndugu yetu David katika kazi aliyoanza hivi leo, na watu wa Bungoma na hakika hawakufanya makosa kumchagua yeye. Ndugu yangu, watu wako na imani na wewe. Kwa hiyo kaa mkakamavu, na kama kuna lolote unaweza kuja kuuliza upande huu, manake huku pia ndio kuna maprofesa, pande hii hakuna maprofesa. Asante Bwana Speaker.
The Honorable Senator Tabitha Mutinda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to take this opportunity to congratulate Senator Wafula. It's a good space in Senate. From the leadership of the clerk, it's been wonderful, and we believe the same will still be offered from the same leadership. As new members, we've walked a good journey. And as you take the leadership of Bungoma, Senator Wetangula has been on the lead, and we urge that you continue with the same spirit. As a woman, matters women, I urge you, I request you, my brother, that you keep the same spirit of the women of Bungoma, the youths of Bungoma. We are less in the house as women, and we always advocate matters women. So we urge that you keep the same spirit. Also take care of the youths in Bungoma. We look forward to support systems, and we are also happy as Kenya Kwanza to soldier on and maintain our seat. So we believe that you're going to deliver, and the support will always be there. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Senator Enoch Wambu.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity to also add my voice in congratulating the Bungoma Senator David Wakoli Wafula. Mr. Speaker, allow me to also take this opportunity to welcome our colleagues from the National Assembly who have come to escort their senator. I do hope, Mr. Speaker, that this show of solidarity among elected leaders from Bungoma will continue beyond today. Because if it does, then this is a good thing for the great county of Bungoma. As has been said, we used to sit with the Senator Moses Masika Wetangula, now Speaker of the National Assembly. And he was a star senator, really. He did very well. Senator David, you have your work cut out for you. Human beings have a tendency to compare performance among their leaders. The challenge for you now is to ensure that when the people of Bungoma begin to compare your performance with that of Senator Wetangula, they will be comparing apples with apples. And the beauty of it is that there will be opportunity for you and for all of us to learn. Learning is a continuous life process. And I like what Senator Cherargei has said, that you will be accorded an opportunity to be inducted and be trained in the workings of the Senate. And he mentioned that if there are some leaders who also want to join in that mentoring and that induction, that training, then they can tag along. So, Speaker, the only thing that Senator Cherargei was shy of saying, and I'll say it on his behalf, is that we all need to be inducted, we all need to be trained, but I think he needs it a lot more than the many of us. So, Speaker, if there will be only one more chance for a senator to accompany Senator Wakoli, I plead that that chance be given to Senator Cherargei. Speaker, those remarks, I welcome the new Senate. I thank you.
Senator Mungatana.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I also want to take this opportunity, Mr. Speaker, to add my voice, first of all, to congratulate the Honorable Senator from Bungoma for making it into the House amidst stiff challenge from other worthy competitors. Mr. Speaker, a heavy burden rests on the shoulders of the Honorable Senator David Wakoli. Why I say so, Bungoma County, Mr. Speaker, has been a barometer of the politics of Western Kenya. So whatever utterances that he's going to make, whatever political moves that is going to make, all of us and the people of Tana River and other places will be watching, because we will be interested in hearing and seeing the moves he's making. Mr. Speaker, we want to welcome him and tell him that in this house we are all friends. We push for one singular issue, that devolution be respected, our counties get a fair share, and that devolution be made to work. Mr. Speaker, I also want to encourage him that now that Bungoma has produced a speaker, it is upon him now to aim higher. So maybe in future he should be thinking about running for president, not just sitting around. With those few remarks, Mr. Speaker, I welcome Mr. Senator now, Mheshimiwa David Wakoli Wafula. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Maitho.
Thank you. And I also stand to congratulate my brother, Senator David Wakoli. I had an opportunity to go to Bungoma, of course, because we had our own candidate. And on behalf of our candidate, I concede that we lost. But then that was a derby. That was a friendly between our party and Ford Kenya. It was a well-deserved win. I congratulate him. Many people have mentioned that he is filling in big boots of the Speaker of the National Assembly, the Honorable Wetangula. But I am confident that David will actually fit the bill. Having worked with Senator Wetangula, having been the engine that was running the person of Senator Wetangula, I am confident that he will be able to discharge his mandate. I'm also particularly happy that he's also coming in. The other time I spoke here, I was making reference to the young people who have been who were appointed into the select committee that was looking into the matter of Governor Kawira. I'm also happy that he's also coming in as a young person. I'm happy that the people of Kenya are appreciating youth leadership. I will also be part of those who will be inducting him, having been here for the last 3 months. I know the good guys and the bad guys. I know the people who can be able to induct him properly, and I'll be able to guide him properly as his age mate. Finally, Mr. Speaker, I have also made an observation, Mr. Speaker, and I think it is important that I put it.
What is your point of order, Senator Mazayo?
Thank you, Bwana Speaker. Bwana Speaker, sijui kama umesikia ama umesikiza alipokuwa akiongea Senator ndugu yangu hapa akisema kwamba kuna guys hapa nashindwa hao guys ni kina nani, manake hapa naona kuna ma distinguished senators ndio wako katika hii nyumba. Bwana Speaker, utumiaji wa lugha ni kitu muhimu, otherwise ama sivyo tutapeleka message ambayo haiko kisawa sawa. Bwana Speaker.
Indeed, Senator Metho, the language is unparliamentary. Kindly retract and proceed to conclude your comments.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I actually withdrew that particular comment. I never meant to disparage the senators who are here. I have a lot of respect for them. But the point that I was making as I was winding up, Mr. Speaker, is that this is a season, Mr. Speaker, of assistance going all the way up. Honorable David has been an assistant to Senator Wetangula and is a senator here. Myself, I've been an assistant to the Speaker of Nyandarua County Assembly, and I am here. The assistant of Senator Cherargei, Engineer Joseph Relmengich, is a member of Parliament for Mgwen. The assistant of former Leader of Majority Kipchumba Murkomen, Adams Kipsianai, is a member of Parliament for KO North. So, Mr. Speaker, as I wind up, then it is also a burden on to us.
Just a minute, Senator Medu. What is your point of order, Senator King?
Bwana Speaker, kwangu si kwa kiongozi Medhu, ni vile ambavyo nimeona nyumba hii. Dakika kama 2 kulikuwa hakuna speaker katika hicho kiti, Bwana Speaker. Nimestuka sana, niliona wakati Medhu anaongea, alikuwa aongee katika Senate ya Jamhuri ya Kenya kwa sababu hicho kiti hakikuwa na speaker. Ilikuwa kiko wazi, hakukuwa na speaker yote.
Bwana Senator Kenywa, samahani. Dakika 2 ni muda ya sekunde ngapi?
Hata kama ni sekunde 1, Bwana Speaker, hakupaswi hili jumba liwe hakuna speaker katika hicho kiti, hata kama ni sekunde 1, Bwana Speaker.
Senator Medu, proceed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. There is a challenge of the time zones in Laikipia. It's a challenge that you can understand, the Senator for Laikipia. But the point that I was making, and I also, Mr. Speaker, had an opportunity of being here when, Mr. Speaker, your own personal assistant or a person who worked in your office was testifying in the matter that we shall discuss later, and he's a chief of staff and he did very well. So it is upon us, Mr. Speaker, to also help the people that are working in our offices so they can become very good leaders and that they can take after us. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senator of Ososi Godfrey.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to start by congratulating Mr. Wakoli, Honorable Senator Wakoli, for the deserved victory to become the Senator of Bungoma County. I want to say that I participated in the campaigns in Bungoma, and I know how hectic it was and competitive. So for Honorable Wakoli to have won, it is not a small achievement. It's really a big achievement, and I also want to thank the people of Bungoma County for conducting very peacefully election that has produced a senator. My advice to Senator Wakoli is that, as my colleagues have put it, he is coming in to fill big shoes left behind by the Speaker of the National Assembly and the former Senator of Bungoma, Honorable Wetangula. And in addition to that, Mr. Speaker, you are all aware that the work of a senator is to provide oversight in the counties. And Honorable Wakoli is coming in to provide oversight on a governor who has been a governor, has been a speaker of this house, and again back as a governor. So that means he has to work extra hard to oversight Governor Lusaka. And Mr. Speaker, as you know the history of Bungoma County has been known to be, and particularly the community, predominant community in Bungoma, which is Bukusus, been known to have produced some of the best leaders in this country. Michael Kijana Wamalwa, people like George Captain, Mukisa Kitui, Masinde Muliro, people like even Wetangula. So being a senator of that county, it's Bufoli Wakoli, of course, and others. Being a senator of that county, it means you are the leading political leader in that county on matters of oversight. So that means you will have to maintain high standards of leadership that these leaders had. Mr. Speaker, I did not campaign for Mr. Wakoli. I campaigned for Mr. Wamunyinyi, who was running on Azimio. But unfortunately, we have a leader now who has been chosen by the people of Bungoma as a senator representing one of the counties in that region, western region. We are going to work very closely with Senator Wakoli to ensure that we have proper oversight in our region. I know one of my other colleagues from the region, Honorable Khalwale, campaigned vigorously against Wakoli. But now that he is the chief whip, I'm sure he is also going to provide leadership and even share lessons with the new senator of Bungoma County, because you want to move together as one house, and the Senate has been known to be a house that practices bipartisan approach to issues. So, Mr. Wakoli, Honorable Wakoli, I can guarantee you, as a senator of Vihiga County, I am going to offer maximum support in this chamber, even as you try to oversight the county of Bungoma, which I have a lot of interest. I started my career in Bungoma County. I own property in Bungoma County. And my children went to school in Bungoma County. So I have a lot of interest in that county, and therefore, Honorable Wakoli, you can be assured of my maximum support as you perform your duties as a senator of Bungoma County. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Thank you. I will request that honorable senators let us make very few, just 1-2 minutes comment. Senator William Cheptumo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wish to join my colleagues in congratulating Senator Wafula for his election as the Senator Bungoma. Mr. Speaker, in the elections of 9th, Bungoma County played a critical role in the success of the Kenya Kwanza victory. And I am happy that Wafula now is representing that county. It is as a result of that election, Mr. Speaker, that the former Senator Bungoma, that is the Speaker, National Assembly, will be a motion in the House about an impeachment motion. Mr. Speaker, Article 96, I want to refer my colleague to that article
Senator,
of the Constitution.
Yes, yes, Senator Wambua, what is your point of order?
Can the Speaker and the Senator take his seat? Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I hate to disrupt the debate. The strain of thought for my brother, Senator Cheptumo. Mr. Speaker, our standing orders prohibit us from anticipating debate. He is talking about a motion that is coming. How does he even know that there will be a motion? I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Cheptumo.
Mr. Speaker, maybe I need to say...
Sorry, Senator Cheptumo, you know you are ranking member and some of these...
Of course I am, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, yes, I know
but,
you are.
But let me say, without anticipating debate, can I amend it that way? And I proceed?
No, you proceed without referring to other matters that
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to stop there because I don't want to lose the argument my point. So, Mr. Speaker, Article 96 of the Constitution sets out the role of Senate. And so, Senator Wafula, it will be your responsibility, and all of us in this House, to protect the interest of the county governments and the counties. I have no doubt, Mr. Speaker, that my new colleague now has that role. I know, Mr. Speaker, all of us in this House, apart from our nominated members, we spend time going around our counties to plead with our electorate to give us votes and so on. And we made various pledges and promises. And Mr. Speaker, I believe that as we team up together with Senator Wafula as a House to protect the interests of the counties and devolution, Bungoma will definitely be also put at a higher level, just the way Senator Wetangula was able to do so. Mr. Speaker, it is important for my colleague to know that we are a family, and as much as, Mr. Speaker, we have this other side of the divide and the other side, but we are one united House, united by the role we are supposed to play. And so those who campaigned for the other members, Senator Sosa said so, and even Galwale supported somebody else, but even for Wafula, it is also your turn now to unite. And I'm happy, Mr. Speaker, the presence of members of parliament from Western Kenya, in Bungoma particularly, in the House, confirms the support he received from the entire leadership of Bungoma. And Mr. Speaker, I want to congratulate him and to wish him well as he begins this channel of leadership in this House.
Thank you, Senator Mwinyi Haji Mohamed.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika, pia mimi kunipa fursa hii kumpongeza Seneta mteule Senator David Wafula Wekoli. Mheshimiwa Spika, kwanza ni kwamba ameweza kukiregeshea hadhi chama cha Ford Kenya ambacho ni chama cha kutoka mwanzo katika vyama ambavyo vilipigania vyama vingi nchini Kenya. Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi pia nilikuwa mwanachama chama cha Ford Kenya awali katika safari yangu ya siasa. Kwa hivyo karibu katika Senate, na pia tutarajia mchango wako utasaidia pakubwa bunge hili pamoja na watu wa Bungoma. Katika kura ambao ulishiriki kulikuwa na vyama vingi ambavyo viliweza kukupinga, na nafikiri kitu ambacho kitushangaza ni kwamba wale ambao wengine wanakupongeza hivi sasa ni wakaka vile vyama ambavyo vilikuwa mbele, mstari wa mbele wakiponda chama chako na kukuponda wewe binafsi kama mgombea wa kiti cha Senate katika eneo la Bungoma, kaunti ya Bungoma, wakati Speaker wa bunge la kitaifa sasa ambaye ni kiongozi wa chama cha Ford Kenya pia hakuweza kumpa heshima hiyo, kwamba pale ni nyumbani kwake. Kwa hivyo angependa apate kijana ambaye kiongozi ambaye yeye mwenyewe ameweza kumpendelea. Kwa hivyo hiyo ni siasa. Mheshimiwa Spika, ningependa mambo haya nikiyazungumza Senator Khalwale yuko hapa kwa sababu alijipiga kifua sana kwamba anachukua kiti cha Bungoma, lakini nafikiri aliramba lolo na tutayaachia hapo kwa sasa. Asante Mheshimiwa Spika kwa kunipa fursa hii.
Senator Kathuri.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this chance to also take the opportunity to congratulate the newly elected member for Bungoma County. I want to thank the constituents of Bungoma for voting in the new Senator, David Wafula. Actually, I visited Bungoma during the campaigns. The runners-up who was number 2 to Wafula is my friend who we served in the National Assembly. So one of the weekends I visited Bungoma, and the contest was too close to call. It was not very easy to know who was to win, but I knew whoever will win because Senator Wafula now is a member of the Kenya Kwanza coalition. The other competitor who was number 2 also happens to be a member of UDA. So Senator Wafula, I want to really congratulate you and to ask you to fit into the shoes of Senator Wetangula.
Senators, proceed to your seats, please.
Senator Karori, you have been recognized enough, so karibu sana. Because you overstayed at the bar. I don't know whether you wanted us to stand up, but you have been recognized. Your presence is well noticed, and your entire committee.
How are you?
So, I was saying that I want to congratulate Senator Wafula and to ask him to really fit in the shoes of his predecessor, Senator Wetangula, who is the Speaker of the National Assembly. There is a lot of potential in this House because the Senate, our main mandate is to make sure that the devolution works. So Senator Wafula joined this team with a lot of esteem, self-esteem, so that we all work together to ensure that the devolution works and to be seen working. So thank you, Honorable Speaker. And this House has so many visitors. If I don't get another chance to speak, even though you have not recognized them, I can see my DNA is associated with so many guests who are in this House today in both galleries, and I really want to welcome them in this Senate. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Your DNA. Senator Beth Kiengo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I take this opportunity to congratulate Senator Wafula and inform him that this is a house of very friendly members, both men and women. So he will take a very short time to learn and catch up and play his role of representing the people of Bungoma. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, sir, allow me to inform our senator from Bungoma that I'm the president for women in this country. So the women in Bungoma and even in your house under my leadership as the president of women. Again, I hope your service to the people of Bungoma will be very productive. Following on your predecessor who did very well in this house, and I hope you will serve the people of Bungoma very well, coping and following on all the positive things that the Speaker now of the National Assembly did as he represented and served the people of Bungoma. However, Senator Wafula, I hope there will be no point when your service and your comments will be messy, noisy, and unfriendly. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Honorable Senators, I think we have congratulated and welcomed the Senator for Bungoma. However, Senator Sifuna says he has roots from Bungoma and he wants to say something. Senator Sifuna, please, kindly.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. First, I wanted to apologize to my brother, the Senator for Bungoma, Wafula Wakoli, because Mr. Speaker had made a public commitment to walk him down the Senate when he was coming to take his oath. But I'm sure he understands why I was not there, because I was committed in other duties of this House, Mr. Speaker. So let me just take this opportunity to congratulate my brother and to welcome him here. As you know, Mr. Speaker, my rural home is in Bungoma. And we just want to congratulate the Senator. Is now my father and mother's Senator at home there. We welcome you to this House. We know that you have very big shoes to fill. Even just over the Christmas period, Mr. Speaker, I am sure the Senator is aware that there were many issues regarding some of the results from some of the schools in your county, and people were reaching out to me and I told them, please, you have your own Senator and is very capable, is up to the task, and I'm sure you will take up the pleas of Moi DEB school regarding their results with the National Examination Council. And I have no doubt that in these colleagues of yours here,
you'll find the necessary support for you to be able to undertake your duties. I am also very proud, Mr. Speaker, because he's a young man, and whenever we see young people also progressing and coming up in leadership, we can see a great future for this nation, because we can see the regeneration of leadership in this country. I thank you, Mr. Speaker. Welcome to the House, Senator Wakoli.
Senator Kinyua, to conclude this particular order.
Asante Bwana Spika kwa kunipa fursa hii. Nataka kuchukua muda huu kumpongeza na kumkaribisha Senator David. Na nimwambia kwamba kaunti hiyo ambayo yeye mwenyewe alichaguliwa kama senator imekuwa na senator ambaye amemwombea sana na ambaye ni mtu aliyekuwa na uzoefu wa kazi yake katika seneti hii. Lakini kile ambacho ningependa kumwambia ni ya kwamba mimi nikiangalia na kupiga darubini, yeye namuona atakwenda mbali kwa sababu alichaguliwa kuwa mgombea wa chama cha Ford Kenya ambacho ni chama cha kiko katika Kenya Kwanza, na wakaweza kufanya vizuri sana. Na kile ambacho ningependa kumwambia Daudi ni ya kwamba Senator Daudi ni ya kwamba mimi nikiangalia najua hata yeye mwenyewe, ukiangalia watu wote ambao wametoka huko katika kaunti hiyo, ukiangalia senator ambaye alikuwa hapa, senator speaker ambaye ni governor huko, uangalie tena senator aliyekuwa hapa Moses Wetangula amekuwa speaker. Kwa hivyo sina shaka rohoni David ya kwamba hata wewe utakuwa speaker, na si speaker peke yake, utaenda mbali. Kwa hivyo tunakuombea mema, na ni vizuri ujue ya kwamba viatu ambavyo utakavyovivaa ni vikubwa kidogo, kwa sababu Wetangula mtu ambaye amembombea katika mijadala, katika uzoefu ya kazi yake. Lakini sina shaka pangu rohoni vile ambavyo uliambiwa na Senator Cherargei ya kwamba utafunzwa, utaelewa maneno na si magumu, kwa sababu hakuna mtu ambaye alizaliwa ikiwa anajua. Sisi sote tunasoma na tuna hakika ya kwamba hata wewe utafanya vema na utaweza kuchunga mali ya kaunti yako kama vile maseneta walioko hapa wanachunga, na vile vile kupigania kaunti zao ili ziweze kupata hela zaidi. Asante Bwana Spika kunipa fursa hii. Nashukuru.
Next order, clerk.
Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Honorable Senators, I welcome you to this special sitting of the Senate. On the request of the Senate Majority Leader, provide letter reference number Senate MLS/CO2 and dated 22nd December 2022, and with the support of the requisite number of senators, I appointed today, Friday 30th December 2022, as a day for special sitting of the Senate, via Gazette Notice number 16005, dated 28th December 2022. In the Gazette Notice, I indicated that the business to be transacted at the special sitting shall be 1, swearing in of David Wakoli Wafula, the Senator-elect for Bungoma County, which has already happened. Number 2, consideration of the report of the special committee on the proposed removal from office by impeachment of the governor of Meru County. Honorable Senators, you will recall that by a letter reference number CIM/res/volume V/2, dated 15th December 2022, and received in my office on the same day, the Speaker of the Meru County Assembly informed me that at a sitting of the County Assembly held on Wednesday, 14th December 2022, the County Assembly approved a motion pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution and Section 33 of the County Governments Act for the removal from office by way of impeachment of Honorable Kawira Mwangaza, the Governor of Meru County. Senator, you may proceed to take a seat. In terms of Article 181 of the Constitution, Section 33, 3A of the County Governments Act, and Standing Order 81A of the Senate Standing Orders, the Speaker of the Senate, upon receiving notice of the resolution from the Speaker of Meru County Assembly, convened a meeting of the Senate on Tuesday, 20th December 2022, to hear charges against the Governor. Consequently, honorable senators, the Senate on Tuesday 20th December 2022, pursuant to section 33(3)(b) of the County Governments Act and Standing Order number 81B1, by resolution established a special committee comprising 11 senators to investigate the matter of the proposed removal from office by impeachment of the governor of Meru County and to report to the Senate within 10 days of its appointment on whether it finds the particulars of the allegations to have been substantiated. Honorable Senators, for your information, both Section 33(6) of the County Governments Act and Standing Order number 84 provide as follows. If the special committee reports that the particulars of any allegation against the governor, A, have not been substantiated, no further action shall be taken under this section in respect of that allegation. Or B, have been substantiated, the Senate shall, after according the governor an opportunity to be heard, vote on the charges. The chairperson of the special committee will shortly lay on the table of the House the report of the committee. If the special committee has found the allegations against the governor not to be substantiated, the matter stands concluded, and I will give further directions on this. However, in the event that once the report is tabled, the special committee has found the allegations against the governor substantiated, the Senate will be suspended for 30 minutes in order to allow honorable senators some time to peruse the report. Further, a motion will be listed for business in the supplementary order paper, which, once prepared, will be circulated when we reconvene after 30 minutes. Debate will then ensue in the usual manner, and at the conclusion thereof, the Senate will proceed to vote on each of the impeachment charges after according the governor the opportunity to be had. Honorable Senators, in this regard, an invitation has been extended to the governor of Meru County to sit in the gallery during debate on the motion. At the appropriate time, before I put the question on the motion, the governor will appear, if present, before the Senate and be heard either by herself or her legal representative. I wish to inform the honorable senators that if the governor chooses to exercise this right to appear and be heard by the Senate, she shall be heard here either by herself or her legal representative in total silence. The governor's speech shall not be followed by any question or comment, and the Senate shall thereafter immediately proceed to vote on each allegation found to have been substantiated. I thank you.
Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers.
The chairman of the special committee, kindly proceed to table your report.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the Senate today, the 30th December 2022. Mr. Speaker, this is the report of the Special Committee on the proposed removal from office by way of impeachment of the Honorable Kawira Mwangaza, the Governor of Meru County.
The chairperson of the special committee on the impeachment of Governor Kawira Mwangaza kindly take the House through the report in a very summary version indicating what is the decision of the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, I would like to thank you, to thank the House, and to thank...
Just hold it, Senator Boni. Senator Cherangei, what is your point of order? I thought this is simple procedural issues.
Mr. Speaker, under Standing Order number 91, and also, since this is our standing orders and it guides the business here, there is Standing Order number 223, and I'll need your ruling on two things, Mr. Speaker, sir, with all due respect. One, this report has been laid, and when we look at the Standing Order number 223, sub-article 7, it says, and it is not specific to the report that is about to be presented by the senator, whichever the outcome, within 48 hours after the report has been laid, which has just been done, on the table of the Senate, the clerk shall publish the report in the parliamentary website and circulate all copies to all senators. It says laid, it does not say after the chairperson has moved. And the last one, Mr. Speaker, so that I give you opportunity, is this select committee report is just like any other report. Some of us, whatever the outcome, we might want, despite the constraint that the Article 181 section of the Constitution of Kenya, Section 33 of the County Governments Act, Standing Order number 80, and the third schedule on the procedure of removal through the committee process, might want at some point to amend the contents of the report, notwithstanding that I'm anticipating the report. So, Mr. Speaker, I need the ruling on that Standing Order number 223.7, and also whether such a report that is about to be tabled by the Senate Majority Whip, can it go full motion where members, after looking at it, can amend whatever the outcome of the report, whether it acquits the governor or some allegations have been substantiated? I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Cherangei, you're out of order. The procedure of removing a governor is very elaborate, and it springs from section Article 181 of the Constitution. And if you read Article 181 of the Constitution, it actually mandates Parliament to come up with a law on the procedure to govern the removal from office of a governor. Now, if you go through the standing orders on the removal of a governor, it is very conclusive on how it starts, on how you table the report, and on how it ends. We shall abide by that procedure. Proceed, Chair, Special Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you, thank the House, thank colleagues, and thank all the stakeholders in this matter of the special committee that was considering and investigating the proposal for removal from office by way of impeachment of the Honorable Kawira Mwangaza, the Governor of Meru. Mr. Speaker, the committee considered and investigated and made a decision on charge 1 being nepotism, illegal appointments, unlawful dismissals, and usurpation of the constitutional and statutory functions of the county organs. It also made a decision, Mr. Speaker, on charge number 2 on incitement, bullying, vilification, and misleading campaigns against other leaders. Mr. Speaker, sir, charge number 3
was processed in the same manner, and it was about forceful entry into the assembly precincts and mobilization of unlawful riots against members of the assembly. And charge number 4 was violation of public finance management laws. Charge number 5, finally, Mr. Speaker, was misconduct relating to nomination of county executive committee members. Mr. Speaker, sir, after the consideration and investigations, observations were made, conclusions were made, and by a decision of one after member, all the 11 members agreed and recommended to this House in this report that the charges, Mr. Speaker, none of them was proved or substantiated. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, the chairperson of that special committee. Honorable Senators, as you may have noticed, the committee has found all the allegations against the governor not to be substantiated. Therefore, honorable members, the procedure to be followed in this case is that set out in section 33(6)(a) of the County Governments Act and Standing Order number 84A, both of which provide as follows. If the special is now put to rest by that report. We cannot purport to debate the report. The report, the committee that came up with that report is a creature of this House. By extension, it is the Senate that came up with that report. Having pronounced ourselves through that report, the Senate now stands functus official. You cannot debate your own decision. And therefore, members, that rests the matter of impeachment of the Honorable Governor. However, I'm aware, indeed, we have wise men and women in this chamber who may give us comments and opinions for the future, not for purposes of the impeachment of Governor Kawira Mwangaza. So I will allow those wise men and women to comment, but do not, repeat, do not take your comments to that report, because those comments will not in any way affect the validity or otherwise of that report. Your comments will not even remove or add a comma of that report. We simply want to seek your wisdom going forward. Senators, for those who are willing to make their comments in that regard, I will be calling one after the other, and that exercise shall not be undertaken for more than 1 hour. Senator Ngugi Joe Joseph Newton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity, and I thank God that today I'm the first one to make a contribution.
Senator, maybe just before you proceed, I can see these quite a number of senators who would wish to make some comments, and therefore we have to limit the time within which each one of us will speak. And I suggest we take 2 minutes per senator. Proceed, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I think I'm going to observe time. I thank the committee for the decision that they made, because all of us, though we were not members, were following maybe on our screens, and we were able to say and we agree that most of those or all of those allegations could not be proved. However, Mr. Speaker, because you have said that we can offer words of wisdom, and I thank God that the governor is here, I think most of the problems that are in Meru, Mr. Speaker, comes from maybe the way the governor carries out her business. She is a lady, an honorable lady, that has made great achievements, being the first woman to be elected on any other seat in Meru other than that of a woman rep, elected on an independent ticket, you know, flooring giants like Kiraito and Linturi. But Mr. Speaker, I think I want to advise the governor, all those achievements should not make power get into her head, Mr. Speaker, going forward. Her concerns were very valid about the Catholic Church occupying, for example, and collecting rent from county property, you know, leaders pressurizing her to employ their people. But Governor...
Senator Newton, you are veering off, and I'm afraid I may stop you there. So conclude your comments. Yeah. I was very clear when I said we are not going to debate the report. All I said is because we have men and women of wisdom going into the future, looking at the devolution. What will be your opinion? What will be your counsel?
Thank you for your guidance, Mr. Speaker. I think I'm going to be very brief. Advise the governor to then, you know, be very careful when she leads, not to address anything. I mean, boardrooms. That's why boardrooms are there, that we can address matters in boardrooms, Mr. Speaker, and that you don't have to say no, even if you mean no. You can say yes, Madam Governor, even when you mean no, and you do not have to pick quarrels with anybody. And Mr. Speaker, because I don't want to get into the matter again, I just want to say as generally that maybe in future we may consider maybe looking at impeachment, because it's a very conclusive matter, Mr. Speaker, that when you are impeached from one office, that you may not even occupy another public office. And I think, Mr. Speaker, maybe we may have to look at the rules of this House so that, Mr. Speaker,
your time is up, Senator. Senator Osotsi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, mine is very brief. I will start by thanking the committee of 11 honorable members who have done a very wonderful job under the leadership of my neighbor, Senator Boni Khalware, another name the bullfighter. We were watching them. They were very objective, and I must say that Honorable Khalware is a medical doctor, but he sounded like a lawyer. The way he was prosecuting issues as the chair of the committee, it is something we need to thank you for that. And the committee worked long hours. Some of us stayed on the TV until 2 a.m. in the night watching the committee work. I think that is a good spirit that this Senate must cultivate. Mr. Speaker, without going into the substance of this report, I just want to say that maybe this is the time that we need to fast track the impeachment bill, so that some of the challenges we have noted, including the shortest time of impeaching the governor, we must define after how long should a governor be impeached, and many other challenges, including the constitutional threshold of impeaching a governor. Otherwise, thank you, the committee. I have known Governor Kawira. We served together in the National Assembly in 2 committees of House Business and ICT, and I'm sure that this is a learning point. She will have an opportunity to read the report, and some of the flaws that were noted, she will be able to improve and be a better governor. Thank you very much, the committee, for a wonderful job.
Senator Oroba Gloria.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm very delighted to be in this house today. And it is wise that you have given us an opportunity to offer words of wisdom for future impeachment motions or opportunities like this. First of all, I want to say, Your Excellency, Governor Kawira, because Your Excellency, you are a governor. You are elected under an independent ticket. You trounced very powerful veteran men, and you should hold your head up high, and we should learn to address people with their right titles, even as we go through all types of motions. Mr. Speaker, allow me just to say that because the governor is seated here, and I feel as though, as much as this is a learning moment, it should not be a moment to bring you down as an elected governor and an independent ticket. I want to say, as we're looking at impeachments in future, we also have to look at the Bills of Rights. And under the Bills of Rights, we have equality and freedom from discrimination, such that when the motions are being brought to the House, it should be about devolution. It should be about following the law, the Constitution, and not about how assertive someone is, or how passionate someone is, or how firm someone is, but whether or not they have defied the Constitution, whether or not they have actually gone, there is grounds for removal from office. It should not be about whether you like how someone looks or how they do not look, because, Mr. Speaker, as women in this house, sometimes we can be misconstrued. Our walking styles might be misconstrued, but those are not grounds of impeachment. So for the future, and for the future of devolution, let us try and stick to the grounds of removal, which is gross violation.
Your time is over, Senator Gloria. Kindly take your seat. Kindly take your seat. Senator Margaret Kamar.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. These 2 minutes would not have been enough for us to congratulate the committee and to congratulate Her Excellency Governor Kawira. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the committee. When we talked to them as they were formed, we really requested them to be fair and to be seen to be fair, to be honest in their dealings. We told them that we would like Kenyans to see the integrity of this House, and they have done it. It's our committee, and we really appreciate you. Mr. Speaker, I want to congratulate Her Excellency the Governor for the way she handled herself, with a lot of decorum, speaking nothing but the truth. I want to tell my brother, my chair of education, that pastors have only one truth. It is the truth. So there is no way you can dodge the truth so that you can say another truth when you are talking to MCAs and another truth when you are talking to leaders. So I congratulate her for standing firmly on nothing but the truth. Mr. Speaker, I came all the way from Eldoret driving, because when you called us, there are no flights from Eldoret. And the reason I came is because the governor was elected by 209,148 people of Meru. And I told myself, in 2 months, a very enthusiastic county assembly has discovered the faults that the people of Meru never discovered. And I was very concerned. I wanted to listen to what our committee has done, and that's why I say congrats to our committee. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We wish you all the best, and we'll discuss the issue of gender later, because it came up during our discussion.
Honorable Sigay.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. You have indicated that we make comments on what wise men would make, and I want to congratulate the committee chaired by the Honorable Senator Boni Halwane for a good job well done. I believe in the fullness of time we shall have to also interrogate beyond the findings of the substantiation or non-substantiation of the matter that has been before this House. But, Mr. Speaker, going into the future, I do think that we might have in a matter of impeachment, the option or the opportunity to be granted in terms of timing, which is a very key issue, as to at what point can a governor who's been elected into office be available for impeachment. And secondly, if and when a report has been taken by a house, like in this case, do we just, as a house which we have said we are bound by the committee report, just have it that way? I think going into the future, we might have to look at an opportunity where the House can interrogate beyond the report that has been presented by the special committee that has been selected. Mr. Speaker, I once again thank the committee for the job that they've done, and wish this House and the Honorable Governor and her team, and together with the people of Meru, Merry Happy New Year and happy festivities. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I take this opportunity to congratulate the committee and the leadership of my friend, Senator Boni Alwale, the bullfighter. Actually, you have done us proud. Thank you so, so much. We followed the proceedings and you did a marvelous job. Mr. Speaker, sir, allow me to really also thank the Kenyans who elected and the Meru people who elected Her Excellency Governor Kawira. I'm happy as a women leader that we have retained the number of female governors, and I urge Kenyans in future to elect more women, because this is a route to achieve actualization of the 2/3 gender rule. To Governor Kawira, Her Excellency, I know she's a woman of God. She has learned her lessons and should do a fantastic job for people of Meru. Otherwise, thank you, our committee. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Kenyans. Thank you.
Senator Karen Nyamu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to give some guiding words for future. First of all, I want to congratulate the committee. I am indeed a very happy woman, and a proud one at that. We were closely following the proceedings, and just like you have found, we had questions too. To the county assemblies in this country, we want to tell you to use impeachment very sparingly and when necessary. Not every feud you have with the governor should land in the Senate in form of impeachment proceedings. The matter of first gentleman is going to be a normal occurrence in this country going forward, because a lot of us have ambitions to be governors in this country, and so our spouses should not be victimized. Another thing, Governor Kawira, we have witnessed double standards when it comes to women leadership. I am a recent victim, and we have to stand firm. We have to stand firm in our space with no apologies, and we are here to stay. Women leadership is here to stay. We will not be victimized anytime we do much less than our male counterparts are doing. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Wambua.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I take this opportunity to congratulate Governor Kawira for being acquitted. I want to take this opportunity again to really thank the special committee led by the Majority Whip for doing a fantastic job. Mr. Speaker, because you said you wanted us to give some wisdom. Mr. Speaker, here is wisdom. It may be bitter, but this is wisdom. So, Speaker, we are here because the County Assembly of Meru brought an impeachment against their governor. When we were setting out the committee, I remember Senator Abbas, the chairman for devolution and intergovernmental relations, complaining bitterly that he had not been included in the committee, he had not been consulted. The Speaker, going forward, the devolution committee of the Senate, on this one, they have failed the Senate. They stood back and watched as Meru crumpled. I'm hearing murmurs in Kiambu County, in Kisii County, in Nakuru County. It is the responsibility of the devolution committee to move suo moto on their own motion, Mr. Speaker, to go to counties where there are issues and try to resolve those issues before we get into an issue of impeachment. The Speaker, going forward.
Senator Mwangaza.
So, Mr. Speaker, let me be a prophet. 40 years from today, Mr. Speaker, when all of us will not be seated here, the people of this country may decide that they will choose a president coming not from the two major political formations that will be in existence at that time. The people of this country may choose to elect, in expression of their independent will, to elect an independent candidate into State House. Mr. Speaker, that president will not be having committee members. He will not be having any person in the House, but the will of the people. Mr. Speaker, going forward, it is my prayer that we will look at the law that will respect the will of the people. The will of the people, Mr. Speaker, is the high currency that we live all of us by. And unless there is such gross violation, Mr. Speaker, we must never, ever, ever allow those who have been placed by the will of the people to serve them in expression of their collective thinking, collective opinion, to be removed from those offices. Mr. Speaker, the law must be made clear. If it is so difficult to remove a member of parliament, if it is so difficult to remove a senator or even an MCA, Mr. Speaker, why should it be so easy to remove a governor who is elected by the will of a people of an entire county? Mr. Speaker, this must come to an end. We don't have to love each other. We must work with each other. You are a governor, I'm a senator. You are a member of parliament. We didn't come there because we love each other. Mr. Speaker, it is because of the will of the people that we serve there. And I'm urging our people.
Your time is up. Honorable Edwin Sifuna.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank this House for according me the opportunity to be on that committee. I admit that it has been a learning curve. I thank all the councils for the parties who have enriched our research here, Mr. Speaker. The people of Meru for being patient with us. Mr. Speaker, I have lost a lot of friends, I can confess, because for the past few days I have refused to answer my phone from the phone calls that have been coming from Meru. But people must understand that when we take up this responsibility, it's a solemn duty to this House, Mr. Speaker. I want to just share out of the experiences 3 things, Mr. Speaker. First of all, as a committee, we feel that when this House decides to go by way of committee, it has to be clear the level and extent of the involvement of our colleagues who are not members of that committee. At some point, Mr. Speaker, and my chair will bear me witness, the committee felt under siege because, of course, from our colleagues, because, of course, there was a lot of interest. So we need to make that clear. Number 2, Mr. Speaker, is the question of time that it takes for us to investigate. Some of us feel that the time is too short. And also the provisions of Standing Order number 80 on the, once a report is tabled, I believe because of the interest, members should be allowed to debate. Finally, Mr. Speaker, my advice is that the Council of Governors must look into training of newly elected governors on various issues of capacity. I believe they need to be trained even on very basic provisions of a constitution, basic provisions of a law. They need to be taken through these courses, because I believe elected leaders come from different backgrounds, Mr. Speaker. And some of the problems we see people getting themselves into is because of a misapprehension, misunderstanding, or just basic ignorance of the law, Mr. Speaker, and many of these things can be avoided. Finally, I hope we've demonstrated, Mr. Speaker, that in these matters, gender is not an issue. That in fact, men can defend women, women can defend men, and vice versa. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I want to leave it there, advise the County Assembly.
The Honorable Tabitha Mutinda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to take this opportunity to thank the committee led by the bullfighter. They've done a good job. Also the other colleagues, congratulations. And I would not want to say keep it up, because we do not want to foresee more impeachments. We would want the elected governors to keep performing. I also especially want to thank Her Excellency Governor Kawira, and say that it's not just a win for you, the governor, nor the women of this country, but we've upheld the Constitution. And I would also want to support His Excellency the President on the legislative matters of the funds, that is the NGCF fund, oversight fund, and the ward fund. All we had and all this, what the MCAs needed was the ward fund. And I appreciate that the governor was able to identify the problem and also was able to give the solution. Governor Kawira, Your Excellency, Meru is my home too. I look forward that let Meru shine. And I know that you're going to be able to work with the MCAs. All they needed, you've been able to identify. Keep the spirit. You're not just a woman governor. You are a leader. In the future, we will not just have women leaders, but we are going to have leaders. Keep leading by example. And what the committee has also advised, as I had Senator Peris Tobiko mentioning, just kindly try and work with your team. You need the MCAs, they need you. And we believe Meru will shine. It is one of the good, productive counties. I am proud of Meru. Keep up the spirit. Thank you.
The Honorable Sekilenku. The Honorable Senator is dozing, I can see from a distance, if you're not hearing me. Honorable Seki.
Yes. I'm already outstanding. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Let me take this opportunity to congratulate the committee for the good work done. I want to say thank you so much, because you've made this Senate today proud. And we want to say thank you so much for even being brief, Chair, for bringing very few issues. The issues that has been raised against the governor were very few. And I think you've also brought it very clear, and you've been very clear to this Senate that the issues were not really something that can make this governor out of his our office. I want to say thank you for the governor of Meru. As a senator of Kajiado, I want to congratulate you once again being elected, and I want to say that please take the issues that has been raised by the committee. I could really follow the proceedings, and I happened to hear Mheshimiwa Senator Peris advising even you on how you should also take it up in future. Please take those recommendations and advice very keenly. Try to observe them, because it is not very good again to come here again. It will not be a very good thing again to come to this Senate again. Try to observe the recommendations by the committee, and I think going forward we will see a good county, we will see a consultative county. All leaders that has been elected.
Is up, Senator
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also want to echo my colleagues. I want to appreciate our very able chair, led by Senator Khalwale and Senator Kabindu, for the good work. Well done. We are really proud of you. To Her Excellency Governor Kawira, you've been given another lease of life, more or less. It should not be the end of anything, but just the beginning of everything. To the MCAs, to the Meru County, kindly support Governor Kawira. I am sure this time she has learnt a lesson and she will work with you. Asante. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Cheptumo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to also appreciate the committee for doing a good job. Mr. Speaker, I served with the governor when she was the women rep for Meru. And Mr. Speaker, I would like to thank this committee because Article 181 sets out the grounds on which we can impeach a governor. It was important for the committee, Mr. Speaker, to apply those principles of law on the allegations made against the governor. This House, Mr. Speaker, shall continue to stand firm and to uphold the law. So, pongezi, Honorable Kalwala and your team. Mr. Speaker, life is about learning. Mr. Speaker, leadership is about challenges. I would like to call upon the governor that, Madam Governor, for the last several days, you've gone through a process, listening to allegations made against you by your MCAs and the other leaders. You are a bishop. Yesterday you made very clear comments in your closing remarks, and you spoke about you will forgive and you will listen and you are prepared to sit down with the other leaders. I want to call upon you that that is the way to go, because those who elected the senator, the governor, the women rep, the MCAs are the very great people of Meru County. You need to unite them so that we are able to move together. Mr. Speaker, I want to agree that we need to look at the laws on impeachment. Is the 10 days, Mr. Speaker, for the committee to retreat, if you are to have one, enough? I believe it was not enough. That is why the team had to stay long. And
Senator Montate Batuli Beatty.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for giving me that opportunity to also join my colleagues in congratulating the very able committee, which did a good job. The sacrifice, they sat down for hours. We are proud of you, and you've made Kenya proud. Thank you. Mr. Speaker, sir, I just want to say that we are happy as women today and urge Her Excellency, the Governor, to, by her own words, to please take it up. It's a second chance. Let her show the nation that women can also lead. The other thing, Mr. Speaker, I would want to say is, could this House look at the issue of the roles of the first husbands and the first ladies, so that in future this conflict can be sorted out? Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, and congratulations, Madam.
County. It would be unfortunate if Meru County were to take the same path. Mr. Speaker, sir, we are all leaders chosen by the same people to make sure that we serve them. As stated before, Mr. Speaker, sir, we do not necessarily need to love each other, but we must get a formula of working as leaders, and most importantly,
And I heard that repeatedly said during the committee sessions. In the name of Jesus Christ, we must be able to work together. I think this is the spirit that should bind the people of Meru together. They find a working formula among the governor, the executive, the MCAs, and all other elected leaders so that they can move the county, the great county of Nyeri, forward. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Senator Manzo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity once again. Mr. Speaker, I really want to congratulate the committee and would like to say that, Mr. Speaker, Parliament, and for that matter, Senate, is forever wise. And I really want to thank Honorable Boni Alwale for his leadership in this matter. And you know, you have shown to the country that devolution is important and it must be protected. Mr. Speaker, we've had experiences like this in Makueni. And I can assure the people of Meru, when Makueni went through this, we wasted a lot of time on unnecessary things and a lot of resources, and we were behind in development that particular time when we had a similar situation. So for Meru have to learn from our experience, and the political events which followed then, and the participants of this particular event were very nasty. And I believe things are going to be different in Meru. I really want to wish the people of Meru well. I want to wish them peace, reconciliation, and that they can put their great county together and things will work well. And finally, I really want to wish the people of Meru, people of Makueni, and the people of Kenya Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Senator Mandago.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me speak to two things, Mr. Speaker, on matters impeachment. One, Mr. Speaker, I think it will be important for this Honorable House to follow on its own recommendations where it has been made in past impeachment, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there is need to amend Standing Order number 82 that gives only 10 days to the committee. Mr. Speaker, for any committee to do a more serious work in terms of reporting, there will be need to do that. Two, Mr. Speaker, I want to say that matters impeachment over governor are not gender matters. And Mr. Speaker, we get completely disappointed when they are looked in the eyes of gender. We are looking at a governor who has been elected and a serving governor. Mr. Speaker, I want to ask that in all leadership status, Mr. Speaker, we have to respect all leaders regardless of their cadre, whether they are MCAs, whether they are members of parliament, and I would strongly recommend, Mr. Speaker, that this House looks into making a unified law that enables counties to have ward development fund. And the mistaken perception that MCAs will be responsible for these funds is actually not true. It is the executive who actually use the funds to implement, but the members of county assembly are given opportunity, being the grassroots leaders who represent the people of those wards, to bring the requests of their citizens to the executive, and having a fund that is close to the ward level, Mr. Speaker, then enables the executive to respond to the needs of the residents of the wards who are also residents of that county, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, going into the future, we need to expedite the
Senator, your time is up. Senator Eddie Okech.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just like my leader in the party, Secretary General Sifuna, Senator Sifuna, I want to thank this House for giving us the opportunity to be able to be in this committee and to examine and investigate the issues that were raised from the County Assembly of Meru. And I want to thank you for the trust you put in us. And I hope that in that spirit, we will be putting trust in each other for whichever committee opportunity we are given. Lastly, I wanted to be able to register, Mr. Speaker, that this House is established to protect the interest of counties and our county government. And those county governments are inclusive of both the county assembly as well as the executive. So I want to express that the notion that sometimes when issues of impeachment come to this place and it goes either the executive way or the county way or the county assembly way doesn't mean that the House leans to one side. Because impeachment issues are issues that are put by the constitutions as a tool of accountability and I hope that as a House we will stand very strong according to our responsibility under Article 96 to protect the interests of counties when they arise such as this. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Robert.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Senator, nobody approaches the chair for seeking time to speak. We shall speak by the dashboard.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this chance, and even more importantly, for giving the House the opportunity to comment on this. I would like to take this opportunity, is that same God that distributed other opportunities. Mine is to request you to be humbled by the calling of leadership. Kindly get in touch with the leaders of Meru. Sit down together within the confines of the law and try and work with them. We have executed this impeachment process, and we believe that there is a lot that has been learned. And the Senate is here to advise you whenever you so require in terms of giving guidance in issues that are gray. Mine is to just say thank you very much to the House also for giving us this opportunity to undertake this responsibility on behalf of the House. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Faki.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika kunipa fursa pia mimi kuchangia ripoti hii. Kwanza naipa kongole kamati iliongozwa na mpiganishaji mafahali ambao amefanya kazi nzuri na imeipa moyo bunge la Senate kwamba wanaweza kutenda haki kwa mtu yote ambaye atafikishwa mbele yake. Pili, Mheshimiwa Spika, ningependa si kumpongeza lakini kumtaka gavana ambaye yuko hapa mbele yetu, Gavana Kawira, na pia county assembly kwamba hii si kwamba mmoja ameshinda na mwingine ameshindwa. Hii ni kwamba mumeweza kuletwa pamoja, mkazinduliwa kwamba mumechaguliwa kutumikia wananchi wa Meru na wa Kenya kwa jumla. Kwa hivyo hapa hakuna mshindi. Walioshindwa ni kwamba wananchi wa Meru wameweza kukosa huduma kwa muda wa miezi 4 sasa. Na Mheshimiwa Spika, kwenda mbele ni kwamba lazima tuangalie kama tunaweza kuirekebisha sheria ili kabla watu kwenda katika masuala ya kubanduliwa uongozini, impeachment, kuwe kuna taratibu ambazo zinafuata. Kwa mfano, waweze kupita katika ile kamati tume mnaitwa Intergovernmental Relations Committee. Waweze kwenda pale kwanza wajaribu kutatua matatizo yao kupitia mazungumzo na arbitration, wakishindwa ndio waende katika swala la mwisho la impeachment. Yaani hii swala la kubandulia mtu mamlakani ni kwa sababu mtu akibanduliwa hawezi tena kusimamia cheo chochote, hata baraza ya chifu pia hawezi kupata cheo. Hiyo ni silaha ya mwisho ambayo inaweza kutumika kumuondoa mtu mamlakani kwa masuala kama hayo. Kwa Mheshimiwa Spika, pia swala la unapobanduliwa mamlakani, yule deputy governor ama naibu governor pia hafai kuchukua nafasi ile, kwa sababu kwa sasa kwa mfano deputy governor wa Meru hajui amsupport governor wake ama aisupport.
Senator Matthew.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. First and foremost, I would want to round the Dr. Boni Halwale Red Committee. That was a job well done. On one of the days that we are doing investigations, I was with you here. You sat until I think past 1 in the night. That is a lot of commitment. We are proud that we gave you that opportunity, and we have the lessons. And even your own leadership, that was very good. Number two, I also want to congratulate Governor Kawira that you have gotten an opportunity to go back to Meru. My only word would be that you go and serve the people of Meru. They voted for you overwhelmingly, over 200,000 votes. It's quite a huge number, so I wish you well as you serve the people of Meru. Number three is that now that you are through with the legal challenge that was ahead of you, what remains is the political challenge. I would want to ask you and beseech the man on my left, the Senator for Meru, that you provide leadership. You'd be doing a great disservice to the people of Meru if you'd spend the next 2, 3, 4, 5 months on a push and pull. I also want to ask our county assemblies that do not fear bringing impeachment and motions to and the petitions to the Senate. Bring them and we shall do justice, just as we did to the one that was brought by the County Assembly of Meru. It does not matter whether you take 2 or 3 months or whatever time, just bring it. We shall be able to unbundle it, unpack it for you, and see whether it was fit or not fit. That is part of our job, and we are well seized of that particular job. Finally, Mr. Speaker, I would want to say this, and it is for all of us as leaders. Dialogue and speaking at each other or to each other will and shall sort out most of the issues that...
Time is up. Senator Stewart Mazayo.
Asante Bwana Spika. Bwana Spika, kitu cha kwanza nataka kumpatia kongole ndugu yangu Boni Khalwale kwa kuongoza kamati ambayo ilikuwa inachunguza mambo haya. Kazi uliyoifanya ndugu yangu, ama mlioifanya nyinyi kama kamati, sisi sote tunawapatia hongera. Cha pili Bwana Spika, nafikiria nataka kudirector ama kuongea na dada yetu Kawira. Kawira umepewa mamlaka na wananchi wa Meru. Ni lazima uangalie katika mamlaka yako unayotumia na utenda kazi wako, ni kwamba watu wa Meru ndio wanangoja hiyo kazi yako utakayoifanya ili waifurahie, kwa sababu wewe wamekuchagua kama kiongozi. Mambo ya kujipiga kifua na kusema kwamba wewe ndio kila kitu pale, tuiweke kando. Fanyia kazi watu wa Meru na ushirikiane. Hauwezi kuwa kiongozi kama gavana kama hautashirikiana na ma-MCAs wako. Ushirikiana na ma-MCAs wako ndio kutaleta maendeleo, na hayo maendeleo ndio natakana na watu wa Meru. Kwa hiyo dada yangu, mimi naweza kukuambia kitu kimoja. Weka kibri, weka kujidai, weka hivyo vitu vyako vyote ambavyo unafanya mpaka ma-MCAs hawataki kufanya kazi na wewe kando. Alafu utumikie watu wa Meru na kuwasaidia ma-MCA pia vile vile kuleta maendeleo katika maeneo yao. Hiyo ni usia wangu kwako, na umeponea chupu chupu. Waswahili husema umeponea chupu chupu, otherwise ungeona barabara ya kwenda nyumbani. Kwa hiyo sisi tu tunasema ya kwamba ufanye kazi na watendee kazi watu wa Meru. Asante Bwana Speaker.
The Honorable Charanke.
Mr. Speaker, 2 quick observations. One is that, Mr. Speaker, many substantive issues were raised by the MCAs, but fortunately it was closed over. Number 2, we have today, in my own observation, we have legitimized temporary impunity, where you go to an office, you uphold the law, and that is it. Number 3, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Senator.
Mr. Speaker.
I gave directions on how we're going to make our comments going forward.
Yes.
The report by the committee is a report of the Senate. You're a senator, and yes, therefore your functus official as far as that report is concerned. You cannot therefore purport to distance yourself from that report. And if that is your line of contribution, kindly take your seat.
Mr. Speaker, I thought comments is part of the opinion, and I'm not blaming anybody, Mr. Speaker. Can I conclude? Can I conclude?
Take a seat. Honorable Cherangei, I know you're forcing me to give you a New Year gift. I'll give it to you. I will. I was very clear, and the law is very clear on this matter. When the report has been tabled, the matter ends there. Whether you have misgivings or not, you don't put them before the House, because it is a report of the House. In other words, you cannot criticize your own work. Having said that, can you proceed to utilize your 2 seconds remaining? What is the point of order, Senator Sifuna?
Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker.
Take a seat, Senator Cherangei.
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, on behalf of
Senator Kinyua, can you take your seat, please?
I'm on a point of order.
You are not on a point of order. He is on a point of order. Senator Sifuna is on a point of order. You are not. No. I said Sifuna. I didn't say Senator Kinyua. So kindly take your seat. What's the point of order?
Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the committee that I served in, I find it terribly insulting. After the hours of work that we've put in, Mr. Speaker, the nation has witnessed how long we've sat in this chamber to be able to go through the evidence, to listen to the parties, to do our research, and the detailed report is before the House, Mr. Speaker. You will be able to see the industry that was put in by this committee. I therefore feel strongly insulted for the senator from Nandi to suggest that we have glossed over any matters that were brought before this particular committee, and he has to withdraw and apologize, Mr. Speaker.
Senator, let me rule on this point of order. Kindly take your seat. Kindly take your seat, Senator. Please. Senator Kinyua, take your seat. Senator Cherangei, I was very clear before I opened up space for comments going forward. And we said we are not going back to that report because that report now is a property of the House, including you yourself as the Senator for Nandi. Your statement to the effect that the committee glossed over some issues is unfortunate. And I'm afraid you have to retract and apologize. Failure which I may order you to be out of order and proceed to throw you out. Senator Cherangei, proceed. And the senator will be heard in silence.
Mr. Speaker, with all due respect, you are the umpire of the Senate. The Constitution gives us a right of opinion and expression. We will not use Senate to gag some of our opinion. We shall not. And I stand by my words, Mr. Speaker, because it is an observation, Mr. Speaker. When members, Mr. Speaker, let me finish. When members were congratulated, we didn't have a problem. When you were being congratulated, we didn't have a problem. We didn't have a problem.
Senator Cherangei, can you take a seat? Can you take your seat, Senator Cherangei? Senator Cherangei, you are not in the market. You speak when you've been allowed to speak. I'm going to repeat myself so that you get me as clear as you can. When this report was laid on the table today, it was laid pursuant to both Section 33 of the County Governments Act and Standing Order 80 of the Senate Standing Orders. If you read it, Standing Order 80, 4, it clearly stipulates on how the Senate should handle the report. It gives two scenarios. If the charges are substantiated, then you proceed, and the senators will have an opportunity to debate the report and thereafter vote on every charge. When no charge has been substantiated, the standing orders are also very clear that the matter rests at that, and no further proceedings shall be taken insofar as those allegations are concerned. Whether you feel aggrieved, whether you feel the committee did whatever you're saying, that has no space on the floor of the House as far as the law is concerned. You may use another opportunity to air your grievances and your misgivings, but certainly not the floor of the House. So to that extent, you have to retract and apologize. Proceed, Senator Cherenge.
Can I be informed, Mr. Speaker?
Yes.
Yeah, can I be informed?
Point of information.
Can I be informed? Right to inform. Relax, I listen to you. Why are you in a hurry?
Point of information. Point of information.
Mr. Speaker, can I be informed? Can I be informed?
Proceed, Senator Cherenge.
But someone wants to inform.
Proceed to retract and apologize.
Mr. Speaker, in your ruling, when you gave us opportunity to make comments, you said anything the comment we make here will not alter or change the course of the decision of the committee. So all these opinions everybody has been raising are personal opinions on what they think. And I've had people commenting about the process, commenting about the chair, commenting about everybody, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, and even others were congratulating the government, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I cannot be gagged. The Constitution gives a right, each and every Kenyan, right to opinion, right to say who they are, unless the Senate has changed and decided to gag its members from expressing their position. And if anything that we say, Mr. Speaker.
Cover your seat. Senator Cherenge, you're holding your standing orders. Kindly proceed to Standing Order 122, gross disorderly conduct. I have made a ruling. You don't debate my ruling. You don't. Standing Order 122A, 1A, states as follows. A senator commits an act of gross disorderly conduct if the senator defies a ruling or direction of the speaker or chairperson of the committee. That is exactly what you have done. Now, before I give you the consequences of doing so, I'm giving you the last opportunity. Proceed to retract and apologize.
Mr. Speaker, the Constitution is very clear. These standing orders emanates from the Constitution. But the supreme of the Constitution, in the case of Opio and I and others, when they whistled at the floor of the House, Mr. Speaker, the court made its ruling. I am expressing my opinion according to the ruling that you gave, that, Mr. Speaker, you say anything we make here will not have any consequences, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, Mr. Speaker...
Have a seat. Senator Chirange, have a seat. Have a seat. I will take you to Standing Order 122, 2. And it provides as follows. The Speaker may call a senator whose conduct is grossly disorderly to order and shall order the senator to withdraw immediately from the precincts of Parliament on the first occasion for a maximum of 3 sitting days. This is your first occasion. I order you to withdraw for the remainder of the day. Kindly proceed to withdraw. Senator Maruma. Senator Maruma.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika kwa hii fursa umenipa ili kuchangia. Mheshimiwa Spika, ningependa kusema kwamba nashukuru kamati kwa ile kazi walifanya na nashukuru bunge hili kunipa fursa kuingia kwa hiyo kamati. Tuliangalia ule mswada wa kumondoa gavana wa Meru kwa kina na kindani sana. Mheshimiwa Spika, watu wameongea wakasema kwamba labda katika ile sheria ya impeachment tuangalie mambo kadha wa kadha. Ya kwanza ni je, gavana anahitajika kufanya kazi kwa muda gani ili kuwa apewe impeachment ama mswada wa kumuondoa uletwe. Ningependa kusema kwamba mambo ya muda hayana shida, kwa sababu hata siku ya kwanza unaweza fanya makosa ya jinai. Kwa hivyo ule muda ambao inahitajika gavana afanye kazi ili mswada wa kumuondoa uletwe haitakani ubadilishwe, kwa sababu hata siku ya kwanza ama ya pili unaweza fanya makosa yanayohitaji uondolewe. La pili, Mheshimiwa Spika, ule muda wa kuangalia ule mswada wa kumuondoa gavana ni mchache mno. Tulifanya kazi usiku na mchana na tunatakana tuangalie ile sheria, kwa sababu mapendekezo mengi ya ripoti za impeachment yanaonyesha kwamba inatakikana muda uongezwe. Kwa hivyo tutaangalia huo mswada, hiyo sheria ya 33 ya County Government Act ili ule muda uongezwe. Ya tatu, Mheshimiwa Spika, kumeingia chachu kule katika
Senator Abbas.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, this is House of Records, and I want to put the records straight that one of the senators, Mr. Enoch, has said that my committee, the Committee for Devolution, has delayed in intervening in these issues. Mr. Speaker, we did not delay. We did move first, and we consulted the local leaders, because we need to start with local leaders, so this issue can be solved, including our Deputy Speaker, and we were advised that the matter is being handled by the local leaders, and then they will inform us later. And before they completed their consultation, the matter went to court. So we could not intervene matter that is in court again. And since the court ruled in favor of the governor, we do not take seriously that issue now, because it has been finished by the court. And because of that, the second time the matter came again, and it moved very fast, Mr. Speaker, sir. With this, I think, information, I want to make the hazard to be corrected. The committee actually had all the efforts made, and therefore, with this, one other thing, I want to also commend the committee, the select committee for the matter, and I want to tell the chairman, it was actually a wonderful session. I've been looking through the TV, and one other thing is I want to advise the governor. The governor is here with us that as much as you are right, we need you to consult. Actually, The assembly is a very important institution in your day-to-day management, and without consulting and dialoguing with the assembly, I want to tell my sister that
is out. Honorable Senators, our hour is long spent. I'm going to give two chances to both sides, starting with Senator Mogeni, and then we'll take it from there.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I begin, Mr. Speaker, by thanking the chair of the Select Committee, Dr. Halwale, who deserves honorary recognition as a lawyer by the Law Society of Kenya for the splendid work he did while guiding the committee. Congratulations, Dr. Halwale, with your 9 members. You have done a good job. And as a House, we fully support the contents of your report. Mr. Speaker, speaking to the MCS of the Great County of Meru, Mr. Speaker, men have various talents. And when women pick their husbands, they look at various talents. Mary, beautiful wife of the senator for Kitui, Wambua, picked a journalist, a great man who can use the power of the pen to communicate to people. My wife, Jacqueline, opted for a senior counsel, a celebrated lawyer in this republic. The husband of the governor of Meru chose her husband who has a talent with the guitar. She is celebrated by many women as a man who can campaign for this great governor of Meru to become a governor. I want to urge the men and women who have been lucky to be elected as MCAs of the great county of Meru to embrace the talent of the first gentleman of the county of Meru and allow this beautiful woman who has broken the glass ceiling by being among the few who have managed to convince voters to elect them as governors to be given an opportunity to serve the people of the great county of Meru. You came to the Senate looking for justice. We have given it to you. Go to the county of Meru and serve the people of the great county of Meru. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mariam.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. First of all, I congratulate the committee for tiresome work, and which led by...
What is your point of order, Senator Joyce? What is your point of order, Senator Joyce?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Is it in order for Honorable Kinyua to march to your seat without respecting the seat?
Certainly, Senator Kinyua, you're out of order. You can approach the chair, but you know exactly how to approach the chair. You may proceed to take a seat. Proceed, Senator Mariam.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. I congratulate the committee members led by Dr. Boni Rawale for tiresome work. I was following up the impeachment, and to my opinion, Governor has a second chance. She may be improving her communication with their employees, and also relationship. She must have a good relationship with her employees, with the MCS. So, thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Asante Bwana Spika kwa kunipa fursa hii. Kwanza nataka kupongeza kamati hii kwa sababu Bwana Spika wamefanya kazi nzuri ukiongozwa na Senator Dr. Halwale. Lakini Bwana Spika, kwa sababu sijasoma hii ripoti, kuna maswali niliyokuwa nikijiuliza. Kwanza kabisa, hawa ma MCA, madiwani wote ambao walikuwa wako katika hapo Meru, wote walionekana kuelekea upande mmoja. Bwana Spika, nilikuwa nikijiuliza hayo maswali, kwani hata ijapokuwa nimesikia ya kwamba kamati waliongea na wakaambia kwamba governor na wao waweze kushikana. Bwana Spika, ni vizuri kuendelea mbele. Sisi tuweke sheria hapa, kwa sababu kazi yetu ni kutunga sheria. Itakuwa ni muda gani mtu governor atakuwa nao ndio aweze kuletwa hapa ili kutibuliwa. Jambo lingine Bwana Spika ambalo ningependa kusema ni ya kwamba kamati ya hapa Seneti, kamati ya ugatuzi imezembea katika kazi yake. Wanaweza kukupatia sababu nyingi, lakini ukweli wa mambo ni huu: wanapaswa kuwa wametembelea zile kaunti. Nilipokuwa mwenyekiti wa kamati ya ugatuzi, tulitembelea kaunti ya Murang'a na mwenda zake Kabaka, Mungu ilaze roho yake mahali pema peponi. Tukatembea Kisii, tukaenda mpaka Taita Taveta, Bwana Spika. Na haya mambo hangefika hiki kiwango ambacho amefika. Jambo ambalo ningependa tena kusema ni ya kwamba Bwana Spika, Mheshimiwa Senator Cherargei alipokuwa hapa alisema ya kwamba kamati vile alivyofanya kazi hawakufanya vile ambavyo mwenyewe angefikiria angefanya. Bwana Spika, watu wote ambao wanasimama hapa kutoa heko kwa kamati, unasema hawa wanafanya vizuri. Lakini Senator Cherargei aliposimama hapa kusema ameona mukshi katika hii kamati vile alivyofanya maneno, ni mkamtimua Bwana Spika.
Senator Kenywa.
Mkamtimua Bwana Spika.
Senator Kenywa. Don't pursue that line of thinking, please. Proceed. You are doing very well, but don't pursue that line.
Okay. Bwana Spika, unajua sisi tujazaliwa na mama moja, baba moja. Pengine fikra zangu na